What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Bianconeri Zone for a live show. You can call in again as usual, or like it should be the next couple of weeks. But we're gonna talk about what happened today. And what happened today was that it was an open training session, part of it, and the media actually started off the day with talking about Allegri changing formation or making tweaks and turning it all kind of around in the next couple of days, basically. And in training, in the open training sessions, there have been things that he twisted or tweaked, whatever you want to call it. So he did make changes. However, he did that also, if I remember correctly, it was reported in November that he was moving to a back four. I think it was November, something around that time. And we didn't see that. And we haven't seen that, excuse me, on the pitch. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Timothy Weah news. And we're going to talk about De Chilio, who I keep forgetting still plays for this club. Actually, like I keep forgetting that De Chilio is still on the club's payroll. For the people who are already in, like the video and subscribe to the channel because we're getting close to 5,000 subscribers. But yeah, first off, the Allegri news. The Allegri, I'm gonna change formation news. Whether you believe it or not, even if it were to be true, it feels like not desperation, but it feels like yeah, now I can do it because the season is kind of gone, and it feels like, is this the right time to do it? Maybe, maybe not. Like potentially yes, in terms of the season is over. So if your thing you try to do for so long is not happening, then surely you can switch it up now. It makes it much easier because you don't mess up what you have in mind, basically. So in that regard, it's not too late. But big picture, 3 years in, I think it is too late. Too late, excuse me. But the news is that Allegri's thinking, damn it, a formation adjustment that could breathe life into a fresh attacking trio that Juve would see with Yildiz, Chiesa, and Vlahovic. The potential setups under consideration are a 3-4-3, excuse me, and a 3-4-1-2. Not that that's much of a difference because it's never going to be a 3-4-3. The big thing is a back three or a back four. I think that has to do with possession and non-possession, to be honest. The big thing is up front. That's where actually it all boils down to: is he gonna play? Is he gonna play Yildiz with Chiesa and Vlahovic at the same time more than 10 minutes? Also, is he gonna start a game with that? I think that's the bigger picture. And on top of that, where comes Alcaraz into play in this situation? Because um, if you need to listen to the media, if you need to believe the media again, it doesn't feel like Alcaraz is gonna start on Sunday against Frosinone, and it's gonna be the same. It's gonna be Rabiot, Locatelli, Micani. So that you can almost already take to the bank. We need to wait and see until Allegri's presser. But that's the feeling at this moment in time. No Alcaraz, and no Yildiz, Vlahovic, and Chiesa up top. Now, like I said, he did that for 10 minutes. And actually, funnily enough, I wasn't watching. I was reading an article in the Corriere dello Sport on... It was yesterday, so on Tuesday, I was reading an article in the Corriere dello Sport, and they were talking about, the Yildiz, Chiesa, Vlahovic up top, and they literally said... hey, R&B comps. Actually, I texted you on Instagram if you want to check that out and respond when you have time. But there was an article in the Corriere dello Sport talking about Yildiz, Chiesa, and Vlahovic up top for 10 minutes. Keep that in mind. They played for 10 minutes. And they had, I don't know, like this much of an article or like an opinion that, it didn't look good. It's like... It was for 10 minutes. Like, it didn't look good because we didn't see anything of it. And it was on the fly, basically. It was done on the fly. So, you cannot really say it did not look good. You can just say, we need to see more before you can make up your mind. Now, is he going to play Yildiz, Chiesa, and Vlahovic up top on Sunday? maybe, maybe. I think you're gonna see that more if the game is in total control. I think rather than when we are chasing a game this time, because I think if you're chasing a game, he will chuck in Milik again. I also think Chiesa will start on Sunday, so that doesn't help as well for seeing them all three. But the formation change or the potential formation change feels like um, feels like it's too late. It is too late in terms of even if it's gonna work and even if you see something. I think as a club, as a board, you should have already made your mind up. Like the next couple of weeks or the next couple of months cannot change your mind. That's what I was trying to get at. If you're a club, or even if a fan actually, if you were Allegri out or in, that opinion cannot change based on what you're going to see from now until the end of the season. That goes for fans and that goes for clubs. Because what's going to happen now until the end of the season is not going to tell us anything different. Even if you win the Coppa Italia, it's not going to change your opinion, excuse me, if you're Allegri in or Allegri out. Even if you lose the Coppa Italia, I don't think it's going to change because you cannot be, I want to keep Allegri, but if he loses the Coppa Italia, I'm totally against it. Like that cannot be a reason to switch your opinion, and especially for the club. So that's why I say the formation change might be completely too late. A new, fresh idea, or try to bring something new on the pitch out there, or put something new out there on the pitch, cannot be uh, excuse me, um, cannot be based on what we're going to see from now until the end of the season. Because from now until the end of the season, it's basically whatever. It's just get top four and win the Coppa Italia. How we do it, I don't think anyone really cares at this point. Not even me. I will obviously say this is not good, this is good. Because we need to talk about it. But at this point, just get it over with. Get top four and win the Coppa Italia. How you do it, I don't think anyone really cares. I don't think anyone really is bothered about that. You will have your opinion, but if you win the Coppa Italia with one shot on target, you'll take it because you know what we have been about the last couple of seasons. So you will just take it and you will be happy with it at that moment in time. Also because we haven't won anything for quite a long time. And somebody said, actually we haven't not won for a very long time. It's only been uh, the third season that we're going not to win if we don't win. That's a long time for a club as Juve. In the past we didn't do that. Yeah, and in the past it got criticized again. When we were not winning in the past, I think people forget because there was no social media and all those things. But the club gets criticized. Players got criticized because you're playing for one of the biggest clubs. If you don't win, you get called out. I think it's just social media that it's like, oh, you've been spoiled for 9 years. We have been spoiled in terms of it's not normal to win 9 in a row, but it's normal to win for a club like Juve. It's normal to demand to win. So the formation change, like I don't really go into details because back three, back four, it's not gonna happen. And even if it's gonna happen, again, it feels like it's a bit too late. It feels like, yeah, I guess good, sure. It doesn't feel genuine. It doesn't feel like it doesn't feel. How do you want to say that? It doesn't feel exciting. It doesn't. Even let's say on Sunday you can see Yildiz Chiesa, Vlahovic up top, and maybe Alcaraz in the team. It would be different because you have something new to look forward to, but it's still not as excited as it should be because man, you're 10 points off Inter, whatever, and it's just get into the top four and fight for the Coppa Italia. So that's my point when what I was trying to say. Let me. Why is this not working? Arsenal are fun to watch. Like the Champions League, they always find a way to lose. I didn't watch. Actually, I watched Liverpool Luton, and I'm actually kind of happy I did that instead of the other games, from what I've read. 10 minutes is more than enough for the mastermind to make up his mind. I was talking actually about an article in the Corriere dello Sport, to be honest. I'm not sure what Allegri decided to do for 10 minutes and then switch it up. That remains very strange. I'm not gonna lie. I'm so confused. what he did there for 10 minutes, because I'm not sure what the idea was. I'm not sure what made him think I need to change it as well, because very, very weird decision. But that's a formation change. Other topic is De Chilio, because I keep forgetting that De Chilio plays for this club. I'm not gonna lie. I keep forgetting that De Chilio is part of this club. So he's back in training for a while now, I think, and he had a setback. And when he had that setback, or when the news came out, I was like, I don't care, because I don't want to see him wear a jersey, wear the colors again. I don't want to see him on the pitch again. It is what it is. But when I remember the day we signed the Chilio to a new deal, and I said, why? Why did we do that? Why did we do that? And everybody was like, and the media was like, oh, he's only on 1.5 million euros. He's on cheap. And I said, there's a reason why he's cheap. Why he's cheap. There's a reason why he took a cheap deal. It's not a good thing to brag about. Now, if you tell me we are gonna keep, there's no good example of this team, to be honest. If you told me we're gonna keep Chiellini for another year before he moved, but you know what, he's gonna do that for 1 million euro a season, I was like, I'll take that. I'll take that, because he was not gonna play much. 1 million a season, and if you play him for half of the games, you'll take that to the bank, because when he plays, it's still quality. When De Chilio plays, he's not quality. Like, when De Chilio plays, it's not quality. If it's for 1 million euros, if it's for 10 million euros, if it's for free, the consistency or the performance remains the same, average. So that's what I said at the time. I'm like, I'm not sure why he got that new deal. It made no sense at all, because we moved him on for a good reason. We brought him back for no good reason. Excuse me. We brought him back for no good reason at all. And now, 1 year, like, somebody in the comments, let me know, when did he get injured? Is it 1 year ago? It feels like he's been injured for 2 years now at this point. It really does. I cannot recall the game he got injured. I cannot recall when it actually happened. And I'm being that serious. And also, before I started the live, I was thinking about it, and I was like, I'm not even bothered to look up when he got injured and how long he's out. I'm not gonna lie. But the funny thing is, if he comes back and he's actually quote unquote fit, he will start. Like, if he was fit now, let's say this. Let's say De Chilio was fit and he would be called up. I will put a lot of money on it that he would start a game before Alcaraz would start a game. And I don't think that's a wild thing to say, if he was fit. Obviously now it feels impossible. But let's say both players get called up for Frosinone. I don't think any of them will start. But from Frosinone on until whatever, if De Chilio was fit, he will be starting a game much earlier than Alcaraz. I will put everything I have on that. I will be convinced of that, because if anyone watched that Allegri video he did for his record and whatever it was, like 406 games on YouTube, he talked about De Chilio, and he literally said, I brought him everywhere where I go because he's reliable, he's a good guy, and like all the things I don't want to hear my coach say. Because if a player is injured so many times, he's not reliable. No matter what he does on the pitch, he's not reliable. That comes into play as well, and 1.5 million a season. It's been 2 years now. We wasted 3 million plus taxes, so a good 5 to 6 million we wasted for absolutely no good reason at all. And we could have predicted this. Not the long-term injury, but even if he didn't get the long-term injury, he would have missed at least half of those games. And half of those games he actually played, he would have been average, and he would have a good game here and there. But even so, Alexandro has a good day now and then. He had one a couple of weeks ago. That happens. because you're still a professional footballer, you will have a good day. Kostic will have a good game from now until the end of the season. Doesn't make him a good player or like a great player. Doesn't make tell you he had a good season. But the Shilio thing, I said at the time, no, stop doing these things. Now, if the Shilio was 21 years old and you did that, I could have lived with that a bit more, but he wasn't. And also, we tried to move him out so many times that even clubs like Lyon were like, nah, like we're good, and we are like, here's a new deal. Absolutely ridiculous, and that comes from Allegri. Like that's a decision Allegri made, and that cannot happen again from now until the end of the, or like even if Allegri stays, that cannot happen at all. These are decisions Giuntoli needs to make and say and tell Allegri, no, we're not gonna do that at all. Um, you're not the only one who wonders why for sure. Yeah, I wouldn't even give him a seat at the stadium during the games. For sure, the guy is way more mature than the likes of Alcaraz. That will be the excuse or the reasoning. Also, you can call in again today. I know it's a very late one because I know doing the show an hour earlier is better for everyone. However, when there's Champions League on, everybody is watching the games. I get that, so that's why it's a late one again. But the call-in shows, I will try to do them an hour earlier from now on. I believe Giuntoli terminate him after Allegri walks away. Yeah, you need to rip that De Chilio contract apart. He can take all his players and leave. Napoli press looked scared today. I'm nervous for when we play him. I didn't watch Napoli. I watched Liverpool Luton and then I stopped watching football, to be honest. So I wouldn't know. Was a new coach already in charge? I forgot the name. But we will see more of Napoli in Serie A. I think that's also like Champions League is a different thing, because it's different. You play differently in the league. De Chile was injured in the Lecce game when Paredes scored a free kick. I cannot even remember Paredes scoring a free kick. Oh yeah, actually I can. Was it that game? So that's a very long time. But yeah, final topic before I wrap it up is Timothée Weah, because that was the front page news basically, or like the big news of the day, that a year after we signed Timothée Weah, he could be on his way out of the club already. And that sounds... I don't know how to put it. Does it sound crazy in terms of what we've seen from him? Like, is it crazy to say, you know what, you're not that guy? Maybe not, but after 1 year, I think it still is. Now, when we signed Timothée Weah, I think everybody had the same opinion. It was like, yeah, whatever. It's very cheap. Whatever. Like, he can play, quote unquote, multiple positions. Well, he cannot play wing back. I will tell you that for free. He's not a good wing back. I think we can all take that to the bank now. But with Weah, is it fair to move him on? Like, I was never sold on Timothée Weah, that's for sure. I said that. I was like, whatever, it's cheap, we will see. But I also don't think it's fair to have made your mind up already completely, unless you made your mind up already before you joined, based on what he did for other clubs. But other than that, when I watch Timothée Weah, when I watch him, my feeling is that he wants to ignite at any moment. However, something is holding him back. And it makes it look very uncomfortable. Like, when he's in possession, I don't know if he wants to beat his man. I don't know if he wants to outpace his man. I get all those mixed feelings. And at the end of the day, he keeps it very safe. And he's very useless when he plays like that. Like, Timothée Weah is a pacey guy. Like, he's very quick. I think he will be very good getting in behind players, pressing, all those things. Technically, he's not the most sounded player. However, he's not garbage as well. But he's not a wingback. Like, he's just not a wingback. He's very restricted. And the pace has, like, the Timothée Weah pace in this scenario comes only in play if, for tracking back. being up and down on the pitch and being back really quickly. But the pace is not being used to the best of his abilities. So that's why I'm like, I don't know if he's totally crap, if he's totally useless. No, not crap. If he's totally useless for this club, I want to see him in a different formation. And what I've seen now, it should not be at the back. I know we can play quote unquote left back and right back and whatever. Nah, I think it's a bit clear, not very clear, that he is better playing more advanced. Now, is that gonna happen with Allegri? Excuse me. That's probably not gonna happen with Allegri. That's why I put out that tweet. Will you keep him or will you not keep him? I was like, it depends on the coach. Now, obviously, if somebody comes in and offers 20 million, you'll think about it as a club. However, I want to see him in a more energetic squad, because he feels like he is a very energetic player. Quick, whatever, can press from what I've seen as well if needed. Um, the stamina, like his ability to keep running, is impressive as well. But the way we watch him now, as a wingback, it feels like he's being contained in a box, and it looks very awkward. Every time I watch where I play, I'm not sure what to make of him. I'm like, it looks awkward. It looks forced. It looks controlled. It looks completely like he doesn't look like himself. It just looks awkward. So I'm not so sure about letting him go immediately. It depends. If Allegri's gonna stay and we're gonna play 3-5-2, then yeah, you move him on already because he's just not gonna contribute that much by the looks of it. But it depends. It really depends on what the decision of the club is gonna be on the coach and Timothy Weah. I think he also got injured for a big part of the first part of the season, so I don't know. It feels a bit weird to do that already. Weah's a good player, but Allegri didn't give him any freedom. I think Weah could do a good thing on the right wing if they change to 4-3. I need to see that, but I have a feeling he will be more effective not playing as a wingback. I don't know why Allegri said about players he's playing. I don't why Allegri said about players he's playing multiple positions. He's speaking Italian. Is that the matter? He cannot play multiple positions. Not the amount of positions I've already taught. All the players that hasn't kicked on is cause they found out of position thanks to this rubbish formation. I will talk about that in a sec. If we get an offer of 20 mil, we should sell him. Let him go, excuse me. Let's not hesitate like we did with Gatti. I don't think that Gatti offer was real, to be honest. He's amazing for the USA because he gets so much freedom and space. Now that's the player he seems to be. A player that needs space and needs to not be really contained that much. But he is, and again, it looks so awkward. It looks so out of place, and it's actually pointless playing him because there's no output. Like there's no output out of Timothy Weah. If he plays a bit like Kosti, just like you're not gonna contribute. Like it feels like you can play another 1,000 minutes and you're actually not gonna contribute. And at that point, we have an issue, on both sides. To be honest, if they play. So, what's your thoughts on Hermoso? I don't know. We will talk about center back. I know there was a story out there about Bremer, and I thought Romeo give his opinion, not news facts. If you listen to UK sources, it feels like Manu could be making a bid for Bremer. Now, I like Bremer, but if you can get 100 million euros, and I'm saying 100 million euros because they paid 80 million for Maguire, that's the standard you guys set. Now you deal with it. The club will move him on. Now, at the back, I think we miss a player that can. I watched that Inter game. If anyone watched that Inter game, their center backs get the team out of trouble. They get them out of opponents pressing them. They give the freedom to the midfield. We need a player who's defensively good because Inter center backs are defensively very good. However, in possession, they are good. They're really good in possession, and it makes a big of a difference. Only if you have one, because we have Bonucci. We don't have a good ball-playing center back. Bremer is not good at it. Gatti is horrible at it, and Danilo is also horrible at it. Actually, Bremer is also horrible at it. They're just not good at it, and it limits us extremely, extremely. Also because it's not that with McKennie and Rabiot you have very good ball playing midfielders. You have very safe ball playing midfielders, but it doesn't help at all. So that back line needs work as a midfield. And actually, at this moment in time, I have no idea what's going to happen. I cannot tell you what potentially could be happening. Usually, I have an idea. I don't have an idea at all. I don't have a single clue. Do you think the formation will change for Frosinone game? I personally think we're still gonna. No, it's not gonna change. It's gonna be 3-5-2. I think I said it a bit earlier. I will be absolutely stunned if we're gonna change formation for the Frosinone game. I will be actually shocked, and I will be like, "Wow, like what is this?" Did you read about Zidane talking about Juve and Bayern? I think it was a quote from Zidane's friend. So yeah, I don't know what to tell you about that. He's not coming. And also I don't want him to come now because he's gonna fail. I think. I don't think he's the right guy for the period, the moment we're in as a club. I don't think he's the right guy. So no, I don't think he's gonna. Like he's been so picky. Why would he join Juve now? Like he's been so picky with picking his team. Why would he make that decision now to join this Juve side that needs a lot of work still? It's going through all the motions. So um, I don't really care what his friend care. Like I don't put weight to what his friends say because it's just not gonna happen. Like we're not gonna like he's not gonna come. I don't think Juve is gonna sign him as well. So that's that. Um, I'm gonna wrap this one up because I know it's late. I know everybody watches Champions League. Again, call in. I'm gonna do it an hour earlier from now until the end of the season. So I'm gonna try to do it at 10 p.m. my time, also on a fixed day, because I think that works best for everybody who watches this channel. However, there was football on, so I'm not gonna stream during the games because usually I do watch games as well. Um, so I'm gonna wrap this one up. And I agree, Drake. Journalists are just throwing everything against the wall. Hopefully something will stick, and then they will say, you know what, we broke the news. But like I said, if you give out so many information, at one point you're just gonna be right. You're absolutely gonna be right. They linked us to every center back, midfielder, winger, whatever. You're just gonna be right because you named them all basically. Like, yeah, you're gonna sign one of them, and you're right. But it's still early. It's still early. Like I said, wrapping this one up. Like the video, subscribe. I will be back live again on Friday. I'll be back live again on Friday and also Sunday evening post Frosinone game. I'll also do a live show. So stay tuned for that one. Like this one, subscribe, and I will see you guys in a couple of days.